Hi guys, you're welcome to Inventive Data Solution Hub. Today, let's talk about group by function in Excel. Group by function ring bells, right? So if you have been working in SQL environments, you have probably used group by clause before. And what does it do? It helps you to group rows that have the same values into summary rows. And it works with aggregate function, like your count, sum, max, main, and so on and so forth. But in Excel, there is an exemption to that. You can use it without aggregate function. And let's dive into it and see what it does. All right. I have with me here employee data sets that consist of 7 columns. We have the name, department, gender, as you can see on my screen. Now, let's say we want to see the salary distribution by department. You can use group by to do these tasks, straightforward. Within few minutes or seconds, you send your report to your line manager. So let's look at how it works. Equal symbol, group by. So before I open the function, like I tell people, always read what the function does. It's going to help you and save you a lot of stress. As you can see, aggregate values by rows field. Now let's open the formula. The first argument here is row field. So your row field is, your variables, your placeholder, right? So my variable here is going to be, guess what? Department, because I want to see total salary by each department. And of course, I'm going to highlight it from the column header, comma, to move to the next argument. So the next argument is value. So the value is the field or the array that we want to add all together. Of course, my salary is my value, comma. You can see group by works with aggregate function, but in Excel, there is an exemption to that. You can see you can use some average counts. If you scroll down a little bit, you can see concat, array text. So this is pretty cool function in Excel. So I want to sum the salary altogether. So these are the 3 major compulsory arguments that you must supply. But of course, we also have other arguments available in group by function, right? Remember, when argument is in a closed bracket, that means it's optional. You can either supply them or not. But let's quickly look at some of them. So we have field header. So I'm going to press comma. So you said the field data does not have header, and the field header should not be shown in the result. Well, my have header and I want it to show. So I'm going to pick the third option, which says yes and show, comma. And the another beauty part of this is that it's going to show you by default the grand total, but I don't want mine to show. I just want to see the salary distribution. So I'm going to pick 0, which is no. The next argument here is sort by. How do I want to sort it? Is it in descending order or ascending order? That means from the largest to the smallest or smallest to the largest. So to get from the largest to the smallest, -2. Of course, we also have our filter array and field relationship. But for now, I'm going to stop here and let's see the wonder. And press enter. Look at that. This is pretty cool. So I have, my the salary distribution by department. So remember, if you work in SQL environment, you can quickly do this, with just a few lines of script. So this is how you can use group by in Excel. Is this the everything that you can do with group by? Absolutely no. You can do much more than this in Excel using group by. So let's look at another task quickly. So I'm going to delete this, you know. Let's just look at one more objective here. And I'm going to say goodbye. Now, let's say your line manager want to see all the employee that were employed in 2016. You can also use group by and combine it with, either year function or text function. Let's look at how that works. Again, equal symbol, group by, row field this time around is going to be the employee name, right? Comma. Our value here is the date. But remember, you cannot add date. So you can either use year function, to extract the year from the date. But I'm not going to do that because year function is not really versatile or efficient in this kind of, setting. But let's look at how that's going to work anyways. So year, then my serial number is my hire date, comma, to move to the next argument. Of course, I have to close the parentheses here to move to my group by function and continue from where I stopped. Of course, I've already supplied the value, so I'm going to move on to the next argument. Now, this is the pretty cool about group by function. It's not limited to aggregate function in Excel. As you can see, we have array text. You can even use concat, right, and other function. So now I'm going to use, array text here, comma, to move to the next argument. Well, I have either and I want it to show, comma, I don't want the grand total, comma, I don't want to sort it, then filter array. Now, this is where it's a little bit tricky. The filter array for argument is going to help you, to narrow it down to your condition. Remember, filter works based on condition, right? So what I want to see here is I want to see all the employees that were employed in 2018. So 2018 is my criteria. So how do I do that? I can use text function, to extract that. Of course, I need to put it in parentheses. So now my text is my hire date, right? Comma. So how do I want to format it? Well, I want the year out of the date. Of course, I'm going to close the parentheses. Where is equal to 2016? 2016, sorry. Now, close the quotes, then close the parentheses. Now you can move to the next argument, which says field relationship. Well, I don't need the field relationship. I'm just going to close my bracket and press enter. Look at that. Now it has extracted all the employee that were employed in 2016. Now, I can see a little bit issue here. The column header for the year is showing value. So what could that be? So let's quickly troubleshoot it. So I'm guessing that's to do with this year function. So I'm going to change from year to text and extract the year. Okay. Yeah. Enter. Look at that. This is pretty cool. Group by function is pretty cool. You can do much more than this, right? So I'm just going to stop here and allow you to, reflect on this. This is pretty cool. If this is your first time of coming across our page, Why don't you just hit the like button? And if you're not following us, kindly follow us for more, tutorial like this that's gonna help you. By the way, group by function is not available in all the version of Excel. It's only available in 365. It's a new function. So go subscribe to 365 if you want to see it. Or I guess I don't know how you can get it. But group by function, you don't have to go to um SQL to group your, of course, there are other functions that you can use to do the same task. But group by is pretty cool and straightforward. Thank you very much for watching today here, and I'll see you next time. God bless you.